Well, I
Todo este parte de un plan. Esto es matarte con flow animal. Esto es para comerse este pan. Muévete al ritmo del bam, bidi bam. Bam, bidi bam, bidi bidi bam, bam.
hello every Wednesday, every week. This is Queen Mother Speaks, and here we are live to be with you today. Greetings to you and to you and to you. We'd like to say welcome to Wonderful Wednesday. That's what we like to call it. Wonderful Wednesday and the Queen Mother Speaks show. I am your host, Ella Dashanaba King, also known as Queen Mother, and our co-host, Nana Efua Adezawar, will not be in studio again today. And I just want to take this moment and apologize because last week we had blackout. So we didn't get to do the show at all. And Nana wasn't able to come in at all either, and she won't be able to come in today, but hopefully before the show is over, she'll jump in and be able to say hello to you. We are in season 9, where the theme is, if not you, who? If not now, when? The time, ladies and gentlemen, the time is now. All right, so right now, speaking of the time being now, right now in America, since the midterm elections, we're facing several runoffs in several states. In particular, we want to talk about the runoff election in the state of Georgia. That's where it's time for you to act, and the time is now. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about it a little more. I ask you to hit the like button, the share button, and the comment button. You know, I go out in public, I run into people who say to me, Queen Mother, I saw the show, we loved it. And I say, no, you didn't. They said, yes, I did. I said, no, you didn't. You did not see the show. Because if you had seen the show, you would have given us a chat and the shout out, or you would have said who you are. So people come in and they're silent. But Queen Mother's asking you to like, share, and please, please, please comment. Let me give a shout out right now to some of our listeners around the globe. I want to say that here in Kenya, we have Eric Ogungo, Esther Mathoni, Lydia Figa. Kenya, we have Abimbola, Lady Mo, Ursula Anderson, Michelle Ernestine, High Priestess Seishat, Carmen, and Tina tuning in from Atlanta, Georgia. They are regulars on the Queen Mother Speak Show. Hello, hello, hello to you. And right now, we want to talk about who's actually in the studio today. We're going to show faces of those in studio today. All right. So, in studio with us right now, we have Global Esther. Esther is an expat. She'll be talking to us a little bit about that. She'll also be talking about what it's like to vote from abroad, but she's also going to tell us about her mission work. Oh, yes, she's going to share some experiences of what she's been doing. So, thank you, Esther. We're going to come back to you in just a little bit. All right. We're also expecting in the studio the one and only Coach RAQUIYAH. Coach RAQUIYAH is coming to us today. She's been doing 4 sessions on health and wellness. Today, she'll complete the last session. She was having a little bit of trouble getting into the studio, wherever it is she's coming from, but that's all right. That's all right. We're expecting that she will get in. And when she does, we will let her know. We want to say hello to, I think that's, what name am I seeing there? Okay, a friend of Lady Esther's. She's tuning in to say hello to you. Thank you for that. All right. Please say who you are, where you're from, and what guest you're actually supporting today. I invite you to just get yourself relaxed. Let's see if that guest is coming into the studio now. I believe she's in. All right. Say hello to the studio. Say hello to the guest.
Good morning, Grand Rising.
Very good. That is Coach Rakaya. She's going to be coming back to us later as well. She'll talk a little bit about voting in the states, whereas um, our other guest, Esther's going to talk about voting from abroad. So now, Queen Mother, invite each of you to get ready, get relaxed for this awesome show. And we're sure you're going to learn something new for sure. Don't forget to hit the like, comment, and share button. And if this is your first time tuning in to Queen Mother Speaks, we say thank you. Thank you. Thank you to Jay Young, also tuning in to the Queen Mother Speaks show. All right? Thank you, Jay Young, because we recognize that there's many things that you could be doing with your time, but you chose to spend it with us, and we love it. And we thank you. We're going to say tune in and thank you for giving us a comment. We're looking for more and more and more. So now on the Queen Mother Speak show, we do talk about expatriating to Africa, but we also talk about young people in Africa. You know, I talk to a lot of people, and they don't seem to get that young people in Africa are really, really stretching out and doing things in business. So we feature an organization that's called Youth in Africa, and they have youth from 54 countries, and they come on and be with us. Thank you to all of our guests tuning in right now. Click on facebook.com, Queen Mother Speaks, facebook.com/ Queen Mother Speaks. Give that over to your friends who's not tuning in to tune in with you today. Once again, to the new viewers, thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Queen Mother Speaks. Once again, Nana is not in today, so I'm going to just say who our guests are. It's our guest who's in the studio. You've seen them. They're going to be with you in just a moment. I'd like to do a happy birthday to all of our November born people. I want to give a shout out to my beloved sister in law, Virginia Miller, Reverend Virginia Miller from Birmingham, Alabama. She turned, I think, 83, 84 in the month of November. I'd like to say happy birthday to my sister, Queen Empress. She's joined the land of the ancestors. Okay. I'd like to say hello also to Annette. Annette is here in Kenya. She and I broke bread this past Sunday, our Thanksgiving time to be together. So, hello to you, Annette. Happy birthday to that beautiful baby and that handsome, handsome husband. Hold on to him, girl. Hold on to him. Now, to all of our people who are in the ancestral realm and guests in the studio, if you have people who have birthdays in the month of August, please feel free to give them a shout out. In my world, in the ancestral realm mean those who have traveled to be with the Lord. I like to give a shout out to my mother, Mrs. Eugenia King, my father, the elder statesman, Reverend Floyd King, to my elder brother, Jesse P. Miller, and my big sister, Queen Empress, all born in the month of November. And they've all traveled up to be with the Lord, but we bless them, and we also want them to continue to rest in peace. I'd also like to give a birthday shout out to a very dear friend of mine, AP. AP, happy birthday, happy Earth Day. Let me give a shout out to those people tuning in from the West Coast. We have Red. Red also had a birthday in the month of November. Happy birthday, Red, a very dear friend out on the West Coast. And she actually went camel riding for her birthday. So I'm asking her to come on the show and tell us all about that. But to the other early risers in California who wake up so early to tune into Queen Mother Speaks, hello to you. That would be Adisa, Kwashi in Los Angeles, Tashmia, Nyla, Hakika, and Samantha in San Francisco. Hello to Talila from Morocco, Mary in Virginia. Blessings to Christine, Stephanie, Chuck, Kier, and Nana. Nana is our co host again in the United States. I'm going to ask each of you to continue, please, to continue to wash your hands and to keep yourself safe. Some people are starting to wear their mask again, but not so much over here in Kenya. But I'm seeing a few people as I go out wearing their mask again. We thank you again for tuning into Queen Mother Speaks. It's a safe space for inspiration and expression. Bonga dada bonga, bonga dada bonga, bonga dada bonga dada bonga dada bonga. What is that? That is a new platform. It airs on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Kenya time, 12 noon New York time. So, and that's a platform for women's voices, and we want to see you tuning into that as well. You can catch them live again, 7 p.m. Kenya time. Go to facebook.com/bonga.bonga. Thank you for those of you putting comments into the chat room. Let me just flash that up on the screen. So, what is Queen Mother Speaks? It's a community platform giving commentary on issues that matter. We have conversations to raise awareness, to inform, to inspire, to ignite, to involve, to educate, even to make you laugh. We will give you from time to time updates on how you can expatriate to Africa. We have words on newsworthy events. We get wisdom from the elders, and we do have some elders in the house today, including myself. And we give a boutique of quotes and inspirational verse. So thank you again for tuning into Queen Mother Speaks. Right now, we're going to go into our breathing exercise. This is something that we learned, I think, in year one of Queen Mother Speaks from the Art of Living Institute. And the facilitators from the Art of Living actually come on the show and do about a 15-minute free breathing workshop. But today we're only going to do 3 breaths. And the way we do that is you breathe in through your nose to the count of 8. Breathe in through your nose to the count of 8. Then you hold it to the count of 8. Okay? And after you hold it to the count of 8, then you release it to the count of 12, very, 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 very slow. As slow as you can. You got it? Breathe in 8, hold 8, and release 12. Very, let's go. Here we go. I don't know if you can see my hand. It looks a bit like it's not being seen. Hold. And release. Okay. Let's do it again. You ready? Let's go. I hope you're getting to do this with me. We're going to do one more. Hold. And release. Thank you for practicing that exercise with me. And here's what I want you to know about that. During the whole entire pandemic season, if it were not for me learning how to breathe, I don't know what trouble I would have been in because it taught me to calm myself down. It seemed like every week I was getting news about somebody else leaving the planet. Okay. And it hurt. And so the breathing helped me to control my emotions and to control my stress around friends and people and family too leaving the planet. Okay. So right now, we're going to go to our affirmation reading for today. I will read the title 3 times, and I want you to listen to the title and to the words, listen with your heart. I am willing to reconsider. I am willing to reconsider. I am willing to reconsider. Exerting dominion over your mind is powerful. You have the power to reconsider. Past negative experiences may warp your opinion of something or someone. But as you grow and you tune in with a new thought, different considerations come into being from a different perspective. And you may see the blessing in what you thought was negative. Who can relate to that? Reframing an experience can release tension and scorn. Reconsidering how to feel about an experience liberates everyone involved, not only just you, but the others involved. Then healing can begin. Reconsider the negative perceptions or beliefs about a person or an experience that you may have had. Give yourself a respite from that experience. I willingly reconsider a negative experience. I open my heart to release the stronghold of judgment. Healing from what I perceived and experienced, both of these things are important to my well being. The experience, my friend, is a lesson learned. For my peace of mind, I reconsider my negative opinions. Thank you, renunciation, in me, through me, as me, around me, through the Christ within. Ha, and so it is. Our scripture for today is the face of a wicked man is shameless, but he who is upright amends his ways. Proverbs 21:29. And that comes from Daily Thoughts from the Hillside International Truth Center, Atlanta, Georgia, USA. Well, let's talk a little bit about thank you for doing the meditation with me and also the breathing exercise. I want to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving Day. It's an annual national holiday in the United States and in Canada, and it celebrates the harvest and other blessings of the past year. I've had a few people here in Kenya to ask me, well, what is Thanksgiving and what is it for? It is for the blessing over the past year where we all stop and give honor and homage and thanks to God. All right. Thanksgiving was actually modeled on a 1621 harvest feast that was shared by the Pilgrims of Plymouth way back when, meaning 1621. That's where it came from. Thanksgiving is the act of giving thanks, being grateful, acknowledgement of benefits, acknowledgement of favors, especially to God, but you can also thank others. It's an expression to God, it's a public celebration in acknowledgement of divine favor, divine kindness, a day that's been set aside and set apart. And we actually celebrate it every year in the United States of America. And sometimes, okay, we get to celebrate it in Kenya. I will say to you that perhaps maybe it was last year. A very dear friend of mine invited me out during the Thanksgiving holiday season, and they were going to visit some more Americans for a huge Thanksgiving feast. But I decided not to go, only because we were in high COVID season, and Queen Mother is in what they call the high risk group. So as much as it hurt my spirit, I didn't go. I stayed home. But this year around Thanksgiving, I called up that family and I said, let's get together. And we did. We actually went to church together on Sunday. I went to a new service. I'll talk to you about that. And afterwards, we went out to have lunch together. It was very wonderful. It was the two sons, uh, one of the wives, Annette, who was having a birthday. We had a little birthday party for her at the restaurant, and their husbands were there. My friend Jane Mwangi, her husband was there. So I actually was with a family on Sunday. Ooh, How good and how special that felt. Thank you, Jane, and thank you to the family. I look forward to being with them more and more. All right, we're going to turn our attention now to voting. To voting. And what we want to say that voting from abroad, the midterm election is December 6th. We're talking Atlanta, Georgia. If you have any questions or you require assistance, please visit www.democratsabroad.org/Georgia. Let me give that to you again, www.democratsabroad.org/Georgia. Or you can write to info@democratsabroad.org. Okay. Now understand that there's a certain amount of live help that's available every day from now leading up until the December 6th election time. Thank you for that wonderful music. Okay, so be sure that you get involved with the voting. Now, if you are living in Georgia for in person voting, the early in-person voting for the runoff election in Georgia has already begun. So it's time to cast your ballot. Expanding our Democratic majority in the Senate and keeping Georgia blue will come down to reelecting Senator Raphael Warnock. What can I say? I'm just very fortunate in that I happen to know this gentleman from when I lived in Atlanta, Georgia. I've heard him preach on several occasions, and we actually both worked together on many, many projects in the ministry through the Martin Luther King Jr. International Chapel at Morehouse College, Atlanta, Georgia. So head to iwillvote.com/Georgia. For those of you living in Georgia and want to vote, go to iwillvote.com/Georgia to find out everything that you need to know about casting your ballot early before December 2nd or on the runoff election day, which of course is December 6th. Okay, very well. So right now, we're going to open up the studio to one of our guests who is Global Esther. I want to tell you a little bit about her. Let's put her on the screen. She hails from Chicago, Illinois. Okay, there we go. She hails from Chicago, Illinois. I just want the one right now. There we go. She is a cross-cultural missionary, a networker, and a daughter of two amazing parents. Now, anytime
Yes.
somebody takes a moment to say that their parents are amazing, you got to know that those parents are really amazing. So we asked Tabisha, you tell us a little bit about them. Now, her newest adventure is being a mom of a teenager. Now, that's very interesting. She'll talk to us about that as well. She loves traveling the world. She loves teaching the Bible. She loves eating good food and helping people feel connected. So she's going to talk to us about that now. Esther has actually lived in Kenya since 2008, which means that she's been here in Kenya even before I came on the scene. So, Esther, welcome to the Queen Mother Speak show.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here. God
Yeah,
bless.
no, tell us, where does that name Global Esther come from?
Well, Esther, I've always seen it as the Queen Esther in the Bible. So my parents called me that, and that name is from them. But I love thinking globally. I want to think bigger than where I am. And so since I love traveling and doing things around the world, I just kind of tag that on as a Global Esther as a name.
It's a
And
wonderful name.
keeping focus of what I want to do. Stay
All
global.
right, all right, all right. Before we leave the area of voting, tell us, Esther, what does the ability to vote from abroad mean to you?
Well, huge. It matters. First off, just looking at the history of what it took for us to be able to vote. And in the past 50 years, we've gotten so used to voting, sometimes we can forget the blood, sweat, and tears that was given so that as Black Americans, as foreigners, or whatever it was, we have the ability to vote. I remember going to the Apartheid Museum in South Africa and just
Mhm.
seeing the pictures of the lines and lines of people and what it took for them to be able to vote. and we must not forget. It's so easy to say, oh, I don't feel like it, or it's too much effort. So now being outside of the United States, it's not as easy. It's not just
Okay.
go down to the local school right down the block, or
Hmm.
show up early or on your way to work. It's
Hmm.
a lot more effort to vote from abroad. But first, I'm still an American. I love my country. I love where I'm born and raised, and I have history there. So I am an
Okay.
American, and I want
Okay.
to remember what it takes, what it took. Now, I'm gonna tell you, there's times I didn't vote because of the complications of it or not
Okay.
understanding how to vote there. But once I did, I have been voting. But it is a gift. It is a gift that
Hmm.
I want to remember and keep treasuring. That it is important that we have a voice, and our
Okay.
vote and our conscience and what we're looking at really does matter. So we have to
Hmm.
remember. And in order to take that effort to vote, even if it's locally and you're at home, vote, because it really says what you did for me in the 60s and 50s. I remember, and it matters. And I'll
Hallelujah.
make sure my voice is heard.
Yeah,
So we have to take.
yeah, we do. I'm learning that a lot of young people are actually voting this time, whereas in the past it's like they've had a come see, come saw attitude. But now that they've
Mhm.
been watching the news and they see what's going on, and I'm going to say, especially over in Georgia, I'm understanding that a lot of the young people, a lot of them are actually voting. So I'm very happy to hear about that. I want to invite the people in Georgia to join President Obama. That's right. Join President Obama and Senator Raphael Warnock for a Georgia runoff early vote rally, which is tomorrow, Thursday, December 1 in Atlanta. So get your I voted sticker and let's keep the Senate seat blue. Okay, well, let's just keep that Senate seat blue. All right, back to you, Esther. What did you do before the personality Global Esther came into view? And how long have you been a missionary?
Wow. I am the daughter of two pastors. And so I grew up in the
Oh,
church, and I grew up hearing about Christ. And I always wanted to be, I used to call it the 700 Club. I wanted my life to matter. I wanted to be
mhm,
something that will have impact for the cause of Christ. So when
mhm.
I grew up, I saw great ministries. I saw people being healed and people coming to Christ through salvation. And I wanted to be a part of it. And so
Okay.
I just started looking at what my family was doing. And but there was something in me. My dad was a Greyhound bus driver, and
Uh-huh.
also being a pastor. And so it was nothing for him to say, come with me. And we would be in Canada, we would be in the South, we would be in New York, we would be all
Oh,
over. So that
oh,
traveling bug was from my parents.
I
And
can
so
hear
they
that.
they took us out to the United States and showed us around, and
Mhm,
made sure that we saw our country. So I love traveling. And later,
mhm.
when I was growing up, I wanted to travel and tell people about Jesus. And
Okay.
so I started looking and meeting people who were traveling and reading biographies of people who traveled. And I
Mhm.
just kept saying, I want to go somewhere. I want to go.
All right. All
And
right.
then started meeting international people and started wanting to also see what the world looked like. So I actually started my traveling by taking cruises. I used to love going on
Ah,
cruises and just seeing different parts of the Caribbean and Mexico and all of those things. And my first mission trip was with my church outside of Chicago, and I got a degree in nursing. So I actually went as a nurse to help with an orphanage and looking at some kids,
wow.
and just loved it, and then started going to China and Romania and different parts of Eastern Europe, just looking at that. So not only my nursing, but when I was in the church, what I served as my church was a Sunday school teacher. And I
Okay.
began teaching the Bible to young people and to the youth. And then I became where people were asking for help on doing that. So I went to Romania and Albania, teaching them how to do children's ministry. But my heart
Wow.
always wanted to do something in Africa.
Mm,
And so
mm,
I
mm,
began
mm.
to meet people from Kenya and Nigeria and Uganda, and had a chance to come over to East Africa and began teaching children's ministry. So
Girl,
that's
you have gotten
that's a key
around.
part of what I do, is help people to see how to.
Mm-mm. At
Yes,
what point, Esther,
I
at what
thoroughly
point,
enjoyed it. So that's
yeah,
how it
yeah,
got around.
at what point did you know this would be your life's work? When did you know and fully accept that? Did you hear the question?
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
When
When
I
did you
first went on
know?
my first
Yeah.
couple of trips, I came home and when did I first know? When did I
Hmm.
first know? When I first took a couple of trips, I just thought I would come back home and go back to my nursing life and just leave it there. But there was just a stirring in my spirit that I wasn't comfortable. And so Joel, who was the director of a ministry that I knew, I sat and talked with him and just said, "What is going on?" And he said, "You're going through withdrawals. God has called you to this. So when you
Uh-huh.
fit into this, you will see." And he opened the doors for me to teach in Russia and in Eastern Europe in the post-communist countries in the 90s. And
Wow.
been doing it ever since. So just being around people who could identify that call, that gifting, and could open doors that can help me to step into it is what really helped and just was the way
Okay.
to start. So that Joel was a blessing for that way.
Very, oh,
So I
well,
loved
how
it. So it's
exciting. And
probably like in the late 90s is when I knew this was something I was going to be doing.
okay, very well. It is one thing to work. It's another thing to be on mission. And when you're on mission,
Mhm.
it many times turns into passion and it doesn't feel like work at all.
Mhm.
Okay? It doesn't feel like work. And you've told such an exciting career. Can you give us a little bit, maybe just about one adventure? And maybe I could pick Russia. Can you give us just a little, share a little experience with us about being in Russia?
Wow. Well, Russia, I probably went to about a dozen times, and because of my nursing background, my nursing background, I was a labor and delivery nurse. And so they were dealing with street children, the ministry we were connected with, and they wanted to understand how do they get them off drugs? How do they get them uh, in a home? Because they lived on the street, but they wanted to create a home for them. So I was there to teach them about healthcare and the child development stages and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they asked a lot of questions about drugs because I was a nurse. And
Mm-hmm.
I know about the drugs that are prescribed to you, but at the time I did not know anything about drug addiction or something like that. So when I
Mm.
came back home, I just prayed. I said, "Lord, show me someone." And I was talking to someone, and we were just meeting at a New Year's Eve party at church. And so I said, "What do you do?" And he says, "I'm a drug counselor for Catholic Charities." And I go, "Do you want to go to Russia?" And in 4 months,
Huh.
we were in Russia training leaders and
Whoa.
teachers how to deal with kids who are coming off of drugs and the process they were going
Mm.
through. And so
Mm.
so many times I would see an opportunity and then God would connect me with someone that was experienced in that area or had
Mm-hmm.
some kind of um, expertise in that area. And I love taking them back and helping them to
Wow.
see that how God has gifted them and what God has carried them through can be a
Mm-hmm.
blessing to someone else on the other side of the globe. First, you start at home. You do bless your
Mm-hmm.
home, but you
Yeah.
don't end there. And so having a
Okay.
wonderful chance of doing that. So with Russia, I used to do a lot of training and helping with street children and the process of them living in homes and drug addiction and stuff like that. But then also my most big one was we went to a prison and we
Mm.
were in a prison with the guards walking through and we took a church there that had their band and we did like a church service and did Bible study with them. And it was after we left, I found out it was the most dangerous prison that was in that area.
Ooh. Oh my
God
God. Oh
and
my
we were
God.
able to and they were gracious, they didn't do anything, but it was just amazing to just when you say yes to God you really will end up in very strange places, but you will see
Mm.
that your gift will make room for you because God is
Oh,
making that
how
true. So we had
exciting.
a great time. So
Right. Okay. Now
yeah,
I
so
see why
it's
you,
Russia was very
I,
interesting.
I see very clearly now why you and Coach Rakaya is on this particular show. I can very clearly understand that in my mind. So just tell us briefly, Esther, Global Esther, what's next? Where are you planning to
Wow.
go next?
My goal is to go to every country in Africa. So, and
Oh,
I also need to go to Southeast Asia. I have been to
okay.
India, but I need to go to Malaysia. I need to go to those. I've been to Japan and China, but I want to go to some countries that are there. So my goal is always to fill up my passport, and I just got a new passport
Mm,
last month. So
okay.
I want to fill it up and see what is God doing around the world and how Africans here that are so wonderfully gifted and have so much experience in things, they need to go, and they are. There are many people that are going around the world and sharing what the blessing in Africa is and sharing it with others. I have friends that are in America. I want them to come. So the whole thing
Mm.
is get people traveling from everywhere to everywhere that we can help share
Woo.
the gospel of Christ. That's my goal.
Wow.
So as many countries as so, and I want my daughter to be a world citizen. I want her to get
Okay.
used to traveling. I told her
Hmm.
18th birthday should be getting from doing an around the world trip so that she would know how to get around the world. So she will see that God had created her for the globe, not just for one
Mm.
spot. And so I'm hoping
Mm.
that many, many others, African Americans, white Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, get out. I know
All
COVID
right.
has shut everything down, but I
Mm.
hope that people will get out. The world is here. Come and learn, come and exchange, come and teach. There's so much stuff that we can do to help each other wherever we are.
Wow. What an
So that's what I'm looking
exciting
for.
life. What an exciting
Yeah.
life. Coach Rakaya, are you ready to travel with Global Esther?
I am ready. I am excited. I am excited because I
Well, maybe
believe
we
that
can
we.
maybe we can go with her on a trip together because I know I would certainly love to go. We're gonna have to see what we can do, Queen Esther, to be a part of that with you. Thank you so much for gracing the Queen Mother Speak show. And from time to time, we're gonna check in with you
Yes.
to see where you are, and we can even
Thank you
maybe
so
do some
much.
shows as you're traveling around the globe, my dear. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Winning souls for the Lord. What great work. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to now introduce to you, to those of you who haven't
All
met her,
right. Thank you
Coach
so much for this
Rakaya.
opportunity. All right. Whatever
Hallelujah.
you have, you can use it around the world. So I just pray that we meet you on a plane.
All right. I accept.
Amen.
I want it and I accept it. I accept that. And Coach Rakaya accepts that too. I kind of like see us traveling together. Let's go ahead and claim it right now. Put your hand up in prayer. Ladies, put your hand up just like mine. Come on, Esther. Bring your hand up, Esther. Can you hear us? Father, Mother God, we come before you right now and we claim, we name it and we claim it. And Lord, we claim that we get a chance to make some global visits with Global Esther as she is going around the globe spreading the word of God. We love you. We praise you. We thank you, Lord. And so it is. All right. Esther, look out. Look out. We're going to be joining that with you one day when the Lord sets it out for us to do that. Right now, I'd like to introduce you to Coach Rakaya. She is the eldest of 10 children born in the Republic of Panama, a country that she absolutely just loves. She attended the University of Detroit in Michigan. Then she completed her bachelor's at Rhode Island College, Providence, Rhode Island. Later, she decided to travel south and relocated to Atlanta, Georgia, and began her master's at the University of Michigan. Coach says, I consider myself a lifelong student. I am a lifestyle, holistic health and wellness coach, which permeates throughout my entire being. Hallelujah. She says, I perform acupressure massages that releases toxins from the meridians of the body. Coach takes on clients in a 30-day detoxification system. She also teaches people how to retard diseases in their body or to eradicate them altogether, adopting what she calls and is now known in the world as a plant-based diet. A plant-based diet as an approach to healing yourself. She is an educator who's taught Spanish over 35 years plus. She's indeed a family person. Would you believe that this young lady has 7 children, 5 daughters, 2 sons, and she also has grandchildren? She says 40 plus years later, she's got 7 grandchildren. Can you believe that? Now, over the past few weeks, ladies and gentlemen, Coach RAQUIYAH, say that with me, Coach RAQUIYAH, Coach
Coach
RAQUIYAH,
Rakaya.
Coach RAQUIYAH. She's engaged in some very provocative discussions about how wellness intersects at a personal level and on a wider social scale. Now, if you've been tuning in to Queen Mother Speaks, you know that she's been here for session 1, 2, 3, and 4. Session 1, she dealt with detoxification and its derived benefits. Session 2, she dealt with why eat plant-based foods. Session 3, she talked about fortifying one's immune system. And today, she'll be concluding with part 4, which is on wellness and sustainability and self-care. Let me say that again. Today, wellness and sustainability and self-care. Welcome to the Queen Mother Speaks Show, Coach. We're happy to have you here. Now, for the benefit of those who may not have tuned in for sessions 1, 2, and 3, can you give us like a little short overview of 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll go into session 4 for today on sustainability and self-care.
Thank you so much, Queen Mother, for having me on the show. It is indeed an honor and a pleasure and a blessing from God to be able to partake and share in this revolutionary healing approach to living.
Very good.
First and foremost, I was trained by Dr. Paul Goss. He's a renowned biochemist, farmer, father, who passed, I believe, last year or the year before.
Yes. Just recently, yes.
Yes, and he taught us that life and death begins in the colon. And I'm going to say that again, and everybody needs to get a pencil and paper and take some notes. Life and death begins in your colon. Your colon is 6 feet long, 20 and 22 feet long in the small intestine. The large intestine is 6 feet long, and it's supposed to clean out the toxic buildup and the roughage and anything alien that does not belong in the system. And depending on what you eat, it sits there and putrefies and rots. Particularly if you eat dead carcasses like beef, pork, and you eat a lot of carbs, which is actually you're eating glue, flour, white rice, anything that is not of high lighting, live foods will more than likely go into your system and contaminate it. So we talked about detoxification. We talked about if you are a meat eater, then you need to detox 4 times a year. Every time the season changes, you need to do some form of detoxification. We also discussed that if you were a plant-based eater, that you also should clean out your system. Just like an oil change. You have to change the oil of the car. You need to tune up your organs of your body, that being your heart, your colon, kidney, liver, spleen. So a detoxification system is not alien, although not recognized in the Western fair of the hemisphere. In a lot of other countries, in a lot of other cultures, a detox is part of the regimen. Monthly, quarterly, yearly, be it as it may, there comes a point when you just need to do a clean out. In our classes, the answer to every question that was asked was detox. Detox.
Ah, okay,
The
okay.
answer to every question that Dr. Paul Goss asked us was detox. And so detox is so critical. One of the critical components to maintaining a healthy lifestyle, healthy living, well-being. When you do a detoxification and you do it properly, you are able to retard 20 years of your aging process. And so when you, after you detox, you revitalize, your skin is clear. I mean, your mental acuity is high. Your energy, you're energized, and you're just able to retain a larger proportion of information because this you're in tune, you're alert, you're aware. So that's critical.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to plant-based. Plant-based, everybody knows that the foods that you eat, the more natural it is, then the more effective it will be. A body you cannot coexist. No disease can coexist in a body that's pH 7 or more, which means that in an alkaline body, there is no disease that can coexist. Let me say that again, and I'm going to say it in a different way. When
Okay.
you eat, the more live foods that you eat, the more raw that you eat, the more your body is alkaline, meaning in a positive state, meaning no mucus,
We're
no
listening.
inflammation,
Mm-hmm.
then your immune system is better able and effectively able to withhold or to prevent any viruses or any alien whatever to host in your body. And so the more that you pay attention to eating 80% raw, 20% cooked, more vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts, very little meat, perhaps no
Mm-hmm.
meat, no
Mm-hmm.
alcohol, sugar and salt, which out of all the consumer products on the market as it pertains to food, 800 and something thousand of them contain some form of sugar or salt. And so I started making my baby food because I realized that in the baby food, if you read the label, I believe the second or the third ingredient is sugar or salt. And why
Mm-hmm.
would you be giving the baby sugar or salt? That's a whole nother discussion. But I just wanted to highlight that to you. Sugar and
Okay.
salt is deadly. Sugar is worse than crack cocaine. Sugar debilitates the central nervous system. Sugar kills.
Mm.
So there is the Israelites group in Israel, the Hebrew Israelites.
Yes, the Hebrew Israelites. Uh-huh.
They only consume sugar twice a year during the festivities, their religious festivities. Um,
Okay.
they also get a massage once a month, and they're plant-based, no animal products of any kind, and they have centenarians living 100 plus living in Israel. So that should tell you that we're not wired to be eating dead carcasses and to be eating and consuming an exorbitant amount of carbs and sugar and salt. And since the early 60s, 70s, since the proliferation of fast foods within our communities, we have been suffering. We're suffering from kidney failure, cardiovascular disease, upper respiratory challenges, lupus, asthma, bronchitis, uh, fibromyalgia, uh, fibroids. All of these having are directly linked to what we are choosing to eat.
Yes.
And what we're choosing to eat is not helping us in any form. It is it is slowly poisoning our bloodstream and poisoning our organs and killing us. Now, let me explain. Our body is made up of 61% water. Our heart is made up of 91% water. I need you to think about that a little bit. The body is 61% water. The heart is 91% water. And so we sit down at a sit-in and we consume macaroni and cheese, steak or ribs, barbecue chicken, rice, all of this, and understanding that how is that going to move through your circulatory system? How is that going to be able? It sits there because this is why when you notice after you eat, you get a little tired, but you shouldn't, because if you eat the right foods, it ought to energize you and not exhaust you to the extent of slowing you down where you're no longer able to do anything. So, yes, we grew up on soul food, and yes, some of these things are part of our culture and tradition. But today, in 2022, aftermath of the pandemic still ongoing, we're just not being told. I am urging and pleading that we become a little bit more conscientious and change our mindset to thinking of the problem 20% and becoming proactive 80%. It's all a matter of consciousness, and it is a decision that we must make, because in 2025, 60% of African Americans will have renal failure, kidney failure, and there will not be enough kidney centers or dialysis machines to sustain the demand for dialysis, which goes in, takes the blood out, pumps the blood out of all your blood out of the system, filters your blood from the impurities and whatever else has gotten into it, and then puts it back into your body, because your kidney is no longer able to do its job. Your kidney has died due to the reckless choices that we have made in what we choose to eat. And this is why I'm calling this the health state of emergency as it pertains to African Americans. And this is why it has propelled me to initiate a 6-month plant-based challenge. And the book that goes along with that is Eat to Beat Diseases by Dr. Lee. and also I will be guiding you if you choose. And the promise is this: most of your diseases will be reversed. Your kidney will be restored. Your colon, your liver, your spleen, and heart will be cleaned out. And you would more than likely reduce the intake of the amount of medications that you're taking, or it will disappear entirely.
Mhm.
No, I'm not a doctor. However, I have enough experience with myself and my family members to tell you that a lot of doctors are aware that if everyone were to go plant-based, they might be out of business.
Well,
They will have to
mhm.
become a little bit more creative in trying to derive a livelihood out of oppressing and depressing people with falsehood. We are what we eat. We are a
Mhm.
product, a byproduct of that which we consume. And I am a living testimony to that hope, to that which I'm trying to impart and share with you.
Mhm.
I am almost, I'm not gonna say plus 60. I take no medic I take no medications. Uh, I'm alert, I'm aware, I am grateful,
Mhm.
and I am happy and joyful. And that
Coach,
is
will
that
you give us
that
the
is
name of that book again? Excuse
uh
me. Will you
eat
please give us the name of
eat
the book again? I want to put it on the screen.
eat right to beat diseases. And I said that to you before.
I know, but right now we're in the show today, and I'm
Yeah,
not
eat
able to go back and
uh
get that from
eat
then. I want to put it up
eat
now.
eat to
Eat
beat
right,
diseases. Eat to
eat
beat
right.
no, eat to beat diseases by Dr. Lee, MD. Now I want to give you 9 steps that you need um to retard or change your consciousness and being more conscious of what you put into your body. But I believe I'm going to pause here for a second. How
Mhm.
much time do we have, Dr. Deshanaba? Are
Well,
there any questions?
we're right at 6 o'clock, but that doesn't matter. This is a very interesting conversation. As you
Are,
can see, we're getting people are in the chat room. They're actually communicating with you. Okay, so I
okay,
say
so
we're going to keep
I
going.
hold your questions. Give me 5 minutes and let me get your pencil and paper and write this down, please. Okay.
Okay, and I will be
Uh,
writing it in the comment section.
okay. Be mindful of how you're entertaining concepts and ideas. Plan your diet, your meals. 2.
Wait, excuse me, are you giving these to us now or?
Yes,
Okay, so number one is,
plan your diet and meals. Prepping is very critical. Prepping and preparation and making the menu out, and that in a chapter in Dr. Lee's book, he gives you the whole map of how to plan out your diet and basically base it around what you eat. The healthy foods. If you don't like asparagus, do not make your one of your menus asparagus. If you do not like spinach or bok choy, please do it around the fruits and vegetables that you have come to love and enjoy. Number 2, adopt a regular exercise routine for 1 hour duration. I have posted on Herbalist Educator the exercise that you can stand in your house and walk 3 miles. standing 3 miles, but you're exercising, just exercising. Follow your medication directions to specificity. 3. Number 4.
Wait. Okay, when you didn't say 3 at the beginning of 3.
3.
So let me have 3 again.
Follow your medications directions to specificity. Don't go on doctoring yourself, please. Stick with the plan that you already have with your doctors and your providers. Number 4, visit your medical providers regularly. And if you're diabetic, and if you have a cardiovascular or upper respiratory challenge, you should have a team of doctors, not just one doctor. If you are diabetic, and if you have a cardiovascular disease, hypertension disease, upper respiratory disease, you should surround yourself with a team of doctors that are dealing with each situation. Because if you're diabetic, more than likely you have high blood pressure, and more than likely your heart is being affected and your kidney is being affected. So here we go. That's 3 doctors already that you need.
Yes.
Plus your family doctor.
Mm-hmm.
If you're diabetic and you have suffering from poor circulation, then that means that you're going to start developing wounds. If you get a wound, if you get hurt, it will take a longer period of time to heal, which creates problems, which may lead to limbs being cut off.
If I may cut in, Coach RAQUIYAH, on that front, what I can say to you is that in my family, my elder brother, at some point developed a sore on his leg, and he had that sore for a long time. So now he did not.
Because what is happening is your blood is almost like a paste. There is very little oxygen getting to your brain and to your central nervous system and your skin to be able to heal. You have to understand what's going on. We did an experiment and we mixed ketchup with I believe it was flour or something. And then it was this mass stuff that nothing was, when you squeezed it, nothing was being passed through. That is the same correlation to your heart. When this is happening to you, when you have diabetes, your body is just crying to breathe, crying to live, to survive. Because you've compacted it with so much. And I noticed that people with diabetes, they love sugar. And sugar is an addiction, and sugar is detrimental to your health. It's poison. And the very things that you love is the things that you should not do. Listen to me. The very things that you are so craving and that you really want, you may not want to do that. Anyway, let's go on. And we may need to talk about diabetes another time, type 2 diabetes, and the challenges that are facing African Americans, not only African Americans, Latinos, Indians, and Arabs. I believe those are the top 4 that are suffering from a higher rate of diabetes globally. I'm not sure about the Africans. Globally. I haven't tapped into the Africans as yet, but I'm sure they eat. For the most part, they eat pretty good.
So you said Latinos, Indians?
Latinos, Indians, Arabs, and African Americans. African Americans being on the top of the list, Latinos coming in second, uh, Indians coming in third, and the Arabs coming in fourth. And then type 2 diabetes is the one that's really life-threatening. Type 2 diabetes. Also, if you go plant-based, your A1C count is going to go down tremendously. Okay, we're number 4, right?
Yeah, we did number 4.
We did number 4. We're number 5.
Wait, let me. Number 4 was visit your medical providers regularly.
Yes.
Okay.
Pay attention to that. Be attentive and be on top of that. Number 5, learn to cope for a healthy living. In other words, even if you decide to do the 6-month challenge and you fall off on Christmas Day or Kwanzaa Day, wake up the following morning and realign yourself and recommit to continue on. Forgive yourself, forget about it, and move on. Number 6, make it a habit to self-monitor. Monitor yourself. So therefore, get yourself a food journal and keep a note on that what you're doing. Number 7, learn.
Well, 1 second, please. One second. We've got number 5 there, which is learn to cope for a healthy life. And number 6 is if for whatever reason
make it a habit.
Make it a journal.
Make it a habit to self-monitor. Make it a habit to self-monitor. Number 6.
You said keep a journal?
Yes. Keep a food journal separate from your other journals.
Okay.
Number 7, learn to set goals and keep them. So, for example, you may say that you're going to walk a mile, but by the time you get to the end of the block, you just can't go anymore. So, reset the goal for the following week. And try to make it 3 blocks. And the 4th week, work yourself up to the mile and then continue adding on for as far as you can go. You don't have to walk or anything. You can turn on the music and just dance for 20 minutes, and that will get your heart going. Just dance yourself away.
Okay, very good.
Number 8, apply problem-solving techniques. Apply problem-solving
let me get that one down.
Be solution-oriented. Do not beat up on yourself.
Problem-solving techniques. Okay.
And there's a book that just came out, Atomic Habits. And I don't know the author, but when I was at my daughter's house, I was reading it. And the one thing that got my attention was it said, what is it that you are willing to give up?
Well,
in order to achieve that which will benefit you.
Let's put that on the screen.
How serious are you in getting healthy and getting well?
What are you willing to give up?
What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to let go of in order to achieve the desired goal?
Okay. Now on that one, what you're willing to give up, ladies and gentlemen tuning in today, and thank all of you that are tuning in to Queen Mother Speaks today. We have a very active chat room. As here we are right now in the month of November. In fact, we're on the very end of the month of November, which means we have one more month or 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks before we enter into a brand new year, which is very important. Why I wanted this kind of information to come on the show. Listen, basically, what Coach is saying to us is you got to start eating different. You got to start eating different if you want a better lifestyle for yourself. If you don't want to be 40 and 50 and 60 years old and constantly going back and forth to the doctor, and you know how it goes. You have family, you have sisters and brothers and mothers and fathers and aunts and uncles and cousins and nieces and nephews and friends. You have community members, you have neighbors who are just sickly all the time. You know why? Because of what they've been putting in their body. And we want you to pay real good attention to the lesson and the training the Queen Mother Speaks is bringing to you today. It is about the quality of life. And quality of life is about your health. Let me just say, Coach, that I was very
I,
fortunate in the month of
can I
October.
get the last one? I want to get the last one. Can I get the last one?
Okay, please do, and then we'll come back to that.
Number 9, last and final. Learn as much as you can about your disease and what is within your control, what you can do differently to better yourself. Lastly, healing comes from renunciation of not being angry anymore,
Mhm.
not being resentful, not holding on to disappointments, failure to achieve your dreams and visions. Forgiveness. In Heal Thy Body, Heal Thyself by Dr. Louise Hayes, there are metaphysical components to each part of your body that is being affected. And what is it that you are holding on to that is affecting that particular, your heart? If you have heart problems,
Well,
excuse me,
mhm,
if you are suffering from a heart condition, you are not, you are holding on to unforgiveness.
mhm. Okay.
If you are suffering from diabetes, you are holding on to anger and resentments. So I don't.
Do you see that question on the screen, Coach Rakaya? Looks like the screen is frozen for a moment with both of us. But what the coach is saying that all of the diseases and things that we have is directly related to things that many times we're doing to ourselves, which has to do with anger, being upset, holding on. But one of the questions from the chat room, Coach Rakaya, is where does God come in? Where does God come in? Okay, we've got a frozen screen right now, and her screen has actually gone to black, but I'm sure she'll tune back in just a moment. Again, this is Queen Mother Speaks. Thank you for tuning in. We have run over our normal time of ending at 6 o'clock, but the conversation is so interesting until I just didn't want to let it go. Thank you for everyone tuning in to Queen Mother Speaks. Please let your friends know I will take these 10 points that she have given us, and we will post them in the Queen Mother Speaks platform, Instagram, all of them over the upcoming week. We will post these 10 points that Coach Rakaya has given us, all right, as it relates to our body. Okay, so the point I was speaking earlier is to say that in the month of October, I was fortunate to have a guest from America to come and be with me right here in Kenya in my own home. It was lovely. Her name was Stephanie. Stephanie just happens to be a plant based eating person. Okay. And she told me that for the last 12 years, I hope you can hear me, for the last 12 years, she has been eating plant based, and the only flesh she eats is fish. I'm hoping you can hear me. I don't know that you can. Please, somebody let me know if you can hear me. So while she was here visiting with me, guess what we had most of the time? You guessed it right. We had plant-based foods. Now, I love vegetables myself, and I do know how to cook some of them, but I learned a lot of new recipes from Stephanie about how to cook plant-based foods. And she's been gone now for a few weeks, but Queen Mother is still, for the most part, eating plant-based. Okay, we did go to Navarsha where we got a lot of fresh fish, and some of it is still in the freezer right now as we speak. Okay, however, I've been, for the most part, been eating plant-based since she left. I haven't had any fish. I'll probably have some over the weekend, and I can't tell you how much better I'm feeling as a person. Oh, okay. I'm being told that, let's see here. Just hold on. I'm being told by StreamYard, who is my studio platform, that they've lost connection. Okay, it looks like we're back in. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're back in now. But as I was stating, that I've been eating plant-based now for about 2 months. And I never ate a lot of meat, but I did eat meat. But I'm feeling so much better as a human being, as a person. And I've learned a lot from these 10 points that Coach RAQUIYAH has given us. And I'm going to, like I stated earlier, I'll be posting them for you on the Queen Mother Speaks platforms. Um, Thank you, Joy. Thank you for letting me know that you can hear me, because when I'm looking, it looks like you can't hear me, but you can. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, Coach RAQUIYAH hasn't come back, so we're going to move on. If she comes back in, we'll pick up from where she left off. Um, she talked very much about our emotional and social well-being. And she says, buy a book of stamps and send a card or a letter to somebody 3 or 4 times a month. Let's say that again. Buy a book of stamps and send a card or a letter to someone 3, 4 to 5 times every single month. Practice deliberate kindness each day. Practice deliberate kindness each day. You know, there's always opportunities to not be kind, but we're saying be deliberate. Be deliberate in choosing to practice it. Volunteer with something at least once a week. In your home, there may be something you need to volunteer and do. I know that I have several suitcases full of clothing and books. And one of the things on my list of things to do as we enter into the new year is to start cleaning them out. I've had them all this time for years inside of the suitcase. Am I really using them? Do I really need them? Looks like Coach is trying to get back in. So, oh, okay. Let's give her a moment. She's still trying to get back in. Okay, let's see if we can help her. Well, we'll add her to the stream. And here we go. There she is. She's back. Very
I
good.
apologize. I
But it
apologize.
wasn't. But it wasn't you. We got a message from our studio that they're the ones who lost Facebook coverage. So I had to go and
Oh,
reconnect. So it was on a bigger scale. But then we do know that the weather conditions in America are not so great right now.
exactly.
Yeah, America is
Exactly.
getting what Africa gets more often. All right, we want to go back to the question on the board from Joy. And the question is, where does God come in?
It's very critical. As a matter of fact, when I woke up, I was going to sing a spiritual, but I'm not a singer. So I didn't want to embarrass myself. God, the God within, God is within you. And
Mhm.
God has given us free will. And He gives us a choice. We have choices. And so you choose whatever choice you make, there's consequences, negative or
Mhm.
positive. If you make a good choice, then you get positive results. If you make a negative choice, then you're going to get negative results. God has given us everything on this planet to sustain ourselves. We don't need any external factors. We don't need medication. We don't need over-the-counter medications. We don't need Pepto-Bismol. We need to eat greens. We need to eat more fruits and vegetables. Maybe I need you to be more
Well,
specific when you say, where does God come in? Because in everything that I do, God is the center of my life.
okay.
I just don't go about, I believe in action. God is an action God. God is
Mhm.
an application God. God is, if you believe and if you know this to be true, then you should be applying that which makes you better. We are supposed to be evolving human beings. We are evolving into being, evolving into a higher element of functioning, being transformative, being functioning on a higher level of consciousness. And
Mhm.
so all this that we're discussing is baby stuff because we
Mhm.
know this. Why?
Mhm.
Because we come here already prepared with everything that we require to sustain us. It's just that
Mhm.
we just get turned around on the yellow
Mhm.
brick road.
Well,
We
well,
just get turned
say that,
around.
my
And
sister.
so God is here right now. Wherever
Mhm.
there's two or more together, there is God. You're not going to see me on any given moment talking about God, 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 because God is an action God. And we
Mhm.
have to learn to do more and talk less. I hope I've answered your question, but I am a believer. I am a believer. Trust and believe. Anyone, eldest of 10 kids, abused when I was a child. Okay, not respected because they said I talk too much. Always
Mhm.
being told to shut up.
Mhm.
Okay, self-esteem at the bottom. Okay,
Mhm.
had to take care of all my brothers and sisters. Okay, left my home to sacrifice to go into the ABC program, a better chance to go
Mhm.
live with 96% population white in Appleton, Wisconsin, to get an education that I should have
Mhm.
gotten where I live in Brooklyn.
Mhm.
Okay, and then go to college in a cold, freezing alien town. I mean,
Ooh.
always cold. In July, you had to wear a coat, okay? And then to
Ooh.
come back and get married
Mm.
and have
Mm.
7 children. And then I had 5. And then when my last pregnancy was twins, I lost it.
Ah,
Twins.
oh
Two.
my.
So, what I'm saying to you, my dear,
Mhm.
is that my entire life has been God centered.
All right.
To lose my granny, my lifeline,
Mhm.
my best
Mm.
buddy, my pal,
Mm.
my ace coon boom coon in
Mm.
1981 from diabetes, 300 and
Mm.
something pounds overweight, heart failure, kidney failure, liver failure. Where
Okay.
is my God? That is my
Well,
God. So
well.
um now you really get me in a whole another, I'm getting ready to zoom out, but I want to stay within.
Yeah.
God is everywhere. God
Mhm.
is ever present, evolving within our being. And
All
the
right.
question should be, are we living God? Are
Well,
we being obedient and receptive to his instructions and guidance? Are we working towards arresting our addictions? Because I have them. We all have addictions. And that is why I've mentioned in one of the points to apply problem solving techniques and to stick to the plan. You're going to fall off. We're going to toss and turn. But once you know what the ideal is, that is what we're evolving to, working
okay.
towards. So
Thank you so much.
I hope I've answered your question, and I'm not
I
upset.
believe you have. I believe you have. And the people in the chat room are saying, yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. Now we are almost 3 minutes from 6:30. We will end the show today at 6:30, which is running over for 30 minutes, but we'll just take this time now. We'll skip our commercials and we'll just go straight to every Wednesday, every week, live at 5 p.m. Kenya, East Africa time, 9 a.m. New York time. You can tune into Queen Mother Speaks by going to facebook.com/Queen Mother Speaks, facebook.com/Queen Mother Speaks. Next week on the Queen Mother Speaks show, we will have Mr. Jonah Simba. And Jonah Simba is helping people with disabilities in Kadejo County this Christmas. Okay? He's helping people, and Kadejo County is one of the arid areas of Kenya. And by arid, what I mean is there's not a lot of rainfall, there's not a lot of grass. So the cattle's in those areas are even dying. And right now, that area has been declared that it needs help. It needs our help. So we will actually be we will be asking you to make donations to this county by December 15, because they don't have water, they don't have clean drinking water, they don't have water, and getting food there is a problem because of the sand, the soil where they are. So we're going to be calling on you to make a donation, but Mr. Jonah Simba will come in and talk to you about that on next week. If I am successful, we will have a coffee person on the show next week. So I'm going to ask you coffee lovers to please, 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 please tune in. They'll be telling us a lot about that. Okay. And then in the following week, we'll be having Miss Njiri, who is the founder of the Tafi Autism Foundation. So again, what we're bringing to you as we're ending the year is people who will need your help. And we will be calling on you to help us in these situations. We're going to get ready to end the show, but I want to just take a moment to thank my co-host, Nana Afua Adezawa. I'd like to thank my segment personalities on the show. That would be Miss Elizabeth Myers with the Talila Report. It will also be Professors Al Gaskin and Whitley Butler. We thank the youth in Africa when we feature youth all over the continent, so you know what African youth are doing. That is our future. We also thank the Art of Living, who are expert facilitators in breathing. Okay, and we want to thank our studio guest today, Global Esther. Wow, what an adventure. If you have interest in doing anything with Global Esther, let us know. Did you hear her say that there was a young man she met and she asked him to go with her, and in 4 months, they were in another country? If you like living like that, I call that living on the edge. And if you like living like that, join me and join Coach RAQUIYAH as we will be spending some time with Global Esther traveling to these global destinations. All right. We're going to end the show with the way we always do. But of course, we thank you. Without you participating, we would not have the show. Please tune in again, again, and again every Wednesday, live at 9 a.m. New York time, 5 p.m. Kenya time. Facebook.com/Queen Mother Speaks. That's Facebook.com facebook.com/Queen Mother Speaks. A last word, Coach RAQUIYAH.
I hope and pray that you all can join us all at Herbalist Educator. Tomorrow begins our 6-month plant-based food challenge towards self-healing, and it will end on June 1st, 2023. And prayerfully, through this challenge, we may save a few lives. I hope to see you. Join me on Herbalist Educator. Messenger me, call me, or email. I've put it up on the chat. And let's begin. Let's begin our healing. Let's begin to take a little bit more responsibility in this fiasco that is taking place in America, and I don't know where else.
Yeah, Coach, what about those who starting off on a 6-month challenge might be a bit challenging? What about those who may want to go maybe a little less than that, but can I just put them in contact with you?
Okay, if you have a pre-existing condition, there is no what if and what if not.
Well,
If you have any pre-existing conditions, then this is for you.
okay.
If you're okay, you can give it a try. You can, dibble dabble. However, this is for those who are on dialysis
Okay.
or cardiovascular challenges or upper respiratory challenges, autoimmune diseases, woman problems, prostate cancer. If you have any form of cancer, forget about it. There is no option.
All right.
There is no
option. So now we want to call out this number. We now have it in the chat room, but it's saying +1 346 244 7887. That's how you can get in touch with Coach RAQUIYAH. She has several programs that she does. Some of them she charges a minimal fee for. So just know that she'll need your help even as you will learn and grow and get more healthy from her work as a health provider, from her work as a health and wellness coach. Once again, you can reach her on +1 346 244.
Yeah. 7887.
Yeah, they're telling me okay, the StreamYard is telling me they're having a problem right now connecting again with Facebook. So I'm going to say that has to do a lot with the weather. So having said that, let's give our kiss, Coach, and we'll end the show for today. So how we do is we take our left hand and blow a kiss, right hand blow a kiss, then both hands and blow a kiss. Are we ready? Let's go. Okay. 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 All right. We're going to end it here, Coach. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you for having me.
This is Queen Mother Speaks every Wednesday, every week, live at 5 p.m. Kenya time, 9 a.m. New York time. Join us.